To learn to live the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Click the bell notification. It's all free. So it's another beautiful fall day here. A little windy, so I apologize for the mic noise. Just so you know, I do have a mic cover that's supposed to keep some of the wind out of it. I don't know how well it does. I can still hear wind in it sometimes. Down here at the corn garden, as you may remember, this past summer I've been preparing a huge corn garden, and I think we're going to get like 700 plants, 700 to 800 plants this year. That's my goal. That should give us like 150 pints, 125, 150 pints of corn. We'll do green beans. Of course, a lot of people say I should grow the green beans in the corn, and I may do that. Definitely on the edges I will, where it'll get the most sun. But we have a lot of area over here, up there where the firewood, I don't know if you can see that. There's a lot of area up there that we want to utilize for green beans. And then Carolyn will just do her normal garden over here with tomatoes and different things. We'll probably expand this out a little bit. She's been growing it each year. As you know, this was a kind of our test garden this year. We've had a lot of success with it. The year before, we had a problem with all the trees that were in this area. I've talked about this quite a bit. So that's the west. So the sun sets in the west over here, but then over here comes up in the east. We don't want to cut the woods down, obviously, so we've been focusing on the west side because these are just saplings, not a huge issue. So we've been cleaning that up. And then what we'll do with the corn stalks we're going to utilize for the pigs. We've talked about getting pigs. I'm going to start working on pig confinement probably, well, the next couple of weeks actually. The corn stalks will fatten the pigs up. There towards the end, you know, you start feeding them corn. They like corn stalks, so we'll be able to feed them corn stalks probably like after June, because that's when we'll get our first crop of corn. We'll look at whether we want to do a second planting of corn or not. I used to do 2 growths per year, but we got such a huge garden, I may be able to just do 1 and have enough corn to get us through the year. I mean, 150 pint jars of corn, that's quite a bit. Plus we'll probably get another 50 or 75 pints of green beans. That's probably all the vegetables that we'll really need. That'll give us plenty of corn stalks for the pigs and the chickens. The chickens like corn stalks also. Now we're going to try to raise some Milo or whatever you want to call it. We've had a lot of success with that by accident. I've showed you that in the past. This will start getting us to where we're self-sustaining, trying to feed the pigs and the chickens just off the property. Now, we're not going to be 100% at this, but that's what we're going to attempt. All that being said, I really got to continue to clean up this area over here. So the other day I was showing you that I was cutting a lot of this down, and I pinched my chainsaw bar. I got a twig in it and it bent the chainsaw bar, so I had to replace that. And I spent about a week and a half trying to find a new bar. Finally got one, found a really cheap price, and I'll link that video to this video at the end of this video. There'll be a card to pop up on the screen. If you'll click that, I'd appreciate it. You'll learn how to change out chainsaw bars and a little bit of maintenance on the chainsaw. And it also tells the algorithm that you like this video, so much so that you're willing to watch another video. It helps me out. I really appreciate it. Now, the one disappointing thing we got here is this is a walnut tree, little baby walnut tree. We have 5 or 6 walnut trees on our property, and I've showed you that we've gotten quite a bit of walnuts off of them, and it's been a lot of fun. We've really had a good time with the walnuts. This one didn't produce any walnuts, probably won't for another few years, but we can't have it here. Even if it wasn't shading the corn garden, walnut trees are poisonous to other crops. Now, you'll have to Google what crops are poisonous to and different things, but basically what it is wherever the branches reach out to, everything underneath the branches is poisonous. Well, eventually this thing will get so big that it'll branch out over to the corn garden, and then we wouldn't be able to have a corn garden here. So unfortunately, I got to get rid of that one. Now, this one here has me a bit concerned. It's a little bit taller, and I don't want it landing over here in this other guy's property and knocking down the, I think he's got a fence over there, I'm not sure. And it's leaning that way, so I got to figure out how to get it to lean the other way. I got to get it to go the other way. So I'll be working against gravity there. There's a way to measure that, actually. You take a stick and you put it on your arm, and then you can see where it's going to land. The biggest problem with this is it's got all these grapevines on them. Now, I know everybody's going to say, no, that's poison ivy. No, that's probably grapevines. They're too big to be poison ivy. And those grapevines hold up the tree, so you got to make sure you got those grapevines cut off. That way it falls a little bit more smoothly. It's not a huge tree. I got some wedges. I could probably wedge it and make it go the other way, or I can probably just push it. It probably isn't that heavy. So we'll see how that goes. Now, I'm not in a big hurry to get everything cleaned up. I just want to get everything knocked down. As you can see here, I've got some of this cut. You can see right here, I got this cut right here. But it didn't fall over because I got other things holding it up. So I got to get all that knocked down. People, like I said in a previous video, people want me to get goats. Yeah, the goats are just more pain than they're worth to me. I've had goats. I'm not a big fan of them. I talk about goats quite a bit in that video that I told you to click at the end of this video. That'll give you some explanation why I don't want to have goats. This isn't going to make a lot of firewood, but obviously it's going to give us some firewood. We'll minimize how much I got to get. I only need about a cord a year now. I don't need to get a lot more. We got some firewood over here. The cedar trees I'll continue to use for pole barns. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, I thought you were going to build a pole barn or a pole structure to put over the firewood. I told you, gosh, I don't know, early spring. I've decided not to do that. The firewood gets moved around too much. I'm just not going to put a permanent location for the firewood. It seemed like a good idea when I first said it, but I'm just not going to do it anymore. So I'll knock down a few trees here and see where we can get from there. Okay, so had to clear myself up a little path here. Like I said, all those grapevines get everything tangled up. So I had to get the branches off this tree here. But it was all tangled up in grapevines, so I had to cut all that. Now I should be able to get that over there pretty easy. And just keep working my way back to that walnut that I was telling you about. So right here, see, that's all tangled up. So I got to get that, otherwise it won't come off. And we got all the thorn bushes also, so those just hurt when they snag your finger. Okay, so it's hung up in a grapevine again. So I'll get that other one down and maybe they'll both come down. So yeah, that took care of both of them. It snapped on me, so it didn't come down safely. Well, I went as long as I could, but I ended up hitting a piece of metal with my chainsaw and dulled the blade instantly. To give you an idea what I'm talking about, I mean, look at all the trash here. I would imagine you can see that. Look at that old Volkswagen hubcap. I wonder how much that's worth. I bet I can make some money off that. Put it on eBay, huh? $1,000! I hit this bar right here when I was cutting this tree here, and it dulled the blade. This is the way the entire place was. Those of you that will remember when we moved here, this whole area, and we're talking about the corn garden here, was all overbrushed like this. Not the trees, but the brush. I mean, there was a few trees here we cut out. You couldn't walk through it. It was just sticker bushes, and the sticker bushes are everywhere. They cut into you. I would show you the cuts I got on my hands and arms, but maybe you can see that little sticker bush there. But YouTube would take it down, call that gruesome content. This tree that I was worried would land in the neighbor's property, what I did, of course, it got hung up and everything, but instead of trying to fight gravity, instead of coming down here and cutting it at the base, I came up here about 4 feet, and I was able to shorten the distance that it was going to fall. I got to get all that cleaned up. Of course, it's all metal and concrete, but you can see there's an old bed frame there. Maybe that's what that is. Big, huge concrete blocks. I doubt I'll ever get that moved. I bet there was a a structure here. Now I'm sitting here thinking about it. I bet there was a house or a shed or something here. You can see canning jars in there. Wow. And then what I'll do is I'll get the lawnmower. Of course, my lawnmower has chain on the back tire, so it's pretty sturdy. It doesn't get stuck too much. And I'll be able to drag some of this out. I'll hook up the little straps to it and pull it out. You've seen me do that with cedar trees before, cedar poles. Lawnmower does fine dragging those across. But I don't know if I'll ever get this place clean. I mean, I can't take the lawnmower back here. Look at that. It's just rocks. It's just a big bed of rocks. All kinds of junk. Look at that. Wonder what that is. The more I go back here, the more I find. It's incredible. It's like opening one of those time vaults, you know, that they bury. And then in 50 years, you open it up. Feels like that. Now, when I do this, I don't work every day on this. I'm getting to the age that, you know, things start to hurt. So what I'll start to feel tomorrow is my back will start to feel a little tingy, and instead of just pushing through it, I always wait 3 days. This seems to be a really good recovery rate for me, and it keeps me in shape. So you might call me a weekend warrior or something, but I've gotten a lot stronger living here in the last 2 years. I was way out of shape. I could only work 10 minutes at a time. I remember coming out here with a push mower, and I'd cut for 10 minutes, stop, come back a few hours later, cut 10 minutes, stop. Well, then by the end of the season, that first year, I was able to cut the entire yard by myself one time through. Didn't have to stop. But with the chainsaw, you're bent over. It's really hard on the back. So if you can click on this right here, it'll show you how to change chainsaw blade, and it helped me out with the algorithm. I'd really appreciate it. So I hope I can inspire you to clean up your dream. Thanks for watching.